This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to And Beyond Ngala. As you can see, we have a beautiful moon this early morning, looking nice and bright. So the plan for this afternoon, we are going to be basically heading east, looking for anything interesting like birds and anything like that. We're going to go past some few waterholes as well. And then the rest of the other team or the rest of our locations are going to be looking for cats this morning. Welcome aboard to your live safari in the African wilderness. Okay, everybody. So as you can see, it's actually a nice, beautiful, cold morning. And this is actually one of my favorite times of the day. My name is Trico, and behind the camera, I have Mpo with me doing a fantastic job. So we're going to be heading in the east. Some nice waterhole there. We're going to go past there and have a look and see what else we can find. As I said, it's very nice and cold this morning. I'm putting myself with some buffs on, gloves and some nice warm jackets. And hopefully it's going to be a very, very good day. I actually think it's going to be a very, very good day. So yesterday we tried in that waterhole. If you did join us yesterday morning, it was actually quite quiet. But I think also it's because of the coldness. And as you can imagine, these animals are same as us as humans, you know? Like when it's cold, they'd rather be in an area where it's nice and warm. Lay down in some thickets. Or even find some drainage lines where it's nice and warm. And there's actually some sections of the road here that are nice and warm. Oh, look at that. Just look at that. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, I think we're getting spoiled lately with these amazing sunsets. You can see the sun starting to come up in the east, giving us that dramatic red colors in the distance there. I think what we'll do, we'll just wait for a little bit. Just enjoy the sunrise. And there are some amazing birds starting to get active. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a few birds calling. And with birds, this is quite normal. You know, early in the morning, they will start to call because they are territorial. There's a Verruk's eel owl in the distance calling as well. So what happens with these birds, you know, they'll announce themselves in the mornings letting other birds know that they're still in their territory and claiming their territory early this morning. And as the day progresses, they're going to start to move around looking for food. And how amazing is that sun? Yeah, we started off with the moon, which was up in the west of us. And now in the east, there's beautiful sun coming up. I think we're gonna stay here for a little while and just enjoy this sunrise. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna take you over to see what the weather is doing on the other locations.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the dawn. What a way to start the morning with a takedown from a lioness. Oh, listen to those blows on the head. Talamati Pride, everybody. And they are up to all sorts this morning. Good morning. Hello, everybody. My name is Steve, joined by Gert on camera, and we are very excited to have you with us. The early morning, the sun is just rising, and we are surrounded now by lions. Hello. Talamati Pride, how are you doing? Very, very good. How exciting is this? We've got at least 7 members, maybe 8. Haven't managed to count yet. We've got Stompstert here. We've got one of the Evoker males is on his way, and then the 2 younger males are behind, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lionesses. So it's not the whole pride, but what a beautiful way to start the morning. Now, are they coming here, Gert?
Morning on station, a mobile lane update for me.
And here comes the big boy as well. There's a young male, and here comes the Evoker male on my right. You might hear and see another vehicle, everybody. Let me just put my head back for dark mane Evoker. You are walking beautifully, boy, aren't you? Oh, magnificent specimen of a lion. Truly is magnificent. So we're going to follow the pride. I think that if I start the car and move, we're going to lose signal. So probably going to have to link away shortly, but we're going to give it a try. We are going into signal. We're just on the outskirts of it at the moment. Talamati Pride coming into our signal area on Djuma, which is very exciting. Still got one young male following. So on our way out, we had tracks coming from Djuma up north. So they've been on Djuma already this morning, last night hunting. He's walking with an absolutely fantastic swagger. You wouldn't think that his right front foot was broken for a period of time. Okay, well, I'm not getting those comms, but it seems as if we are going to be linking away. And send you over to Angus, who'd like to say good morning.
Good morning, everyone. And wow, what an awesome way to start the morning. We've been following this
male lion. You can see the moon setting in the background as well. We just stumbled across them. We are going to try and look for those cheetah that we had last night to see what they'd done overnight, and they're possibly still in the same place. My name's Angus, and behind the camera today we have Johan. And to carry on the story, then there was some of the black rhino monitors on the reserve here at Pinda, and they just like waved us down and then said Bowesi, which means lion in Zulu, and it was really, really cool to be able to just follow him this morning. He's really on a mission, so he's been walking very quickly and quite steadily. It seems like he's walking towards another pride of lion that, let's try and, I don't know if we're going to be able to move and still have signals. We'll give it a try. Beautiful as he just walks down the road. Okay, let's try and stick with him. So he's been scent marking as he's walking, which is typical of lions, or especially male lions, when they are moving around. So it could have been that he was off on a territorial patrol. He was with the pride yesterday morning, and he's moved at least 10 kilometers from them. And male lions often don't get the credit that's due to them, because they actually work hard and move very long distances. It's just because often they're seen just basically sleeping or stealing a carcass from the hard work that a lot of the lionesses and their prides have done. Looks like to me now that he's actually looking for something. You see he's lifting up his nose and actually trying to get his head as high up as possible. Again, he's just stopped and James, it's a pleasure for me as well. I haven't seen this male lion for quite a long time, and I'm sure the regulars to Wild Earth will know the story of how his brother was killed in a fight with rival male lions only a few weeks ago. And you can actually still see the battle scars that he has from that same fight. So it's a pleasure to see him again. Wow, that shot with the moon behind him is incredible. Now it looks like he's actually just trying to pick up on a scent. Perhaps the pride has moved around last night and he might be trying to find them again. He walked past a whole herd of impala earlier. He's probably about 10 meters away from them, and he just kept walking. So I don't think he's really that interested. Well, he's not very well fed, but I don't think he's very interested in hunting. It seems like he wants to go meet up with some other lions. Wow, there's the moon. Wow. It's just something about a male lion. And you can see when he has stopped, he'd take a few moments to work out what his next move will be. Now he's got his head down, he's sniffing, so he really is, seems like he's on a mission this morning. I won't be surprised if he heads towards that tree that's in your shot now, just below the moon. I've seen him there before. On that occasion it was with his brother. Oops, just went over quite a big log, but he's not perturbed at all. So we are going off-road here. And like I said, for big cats on Pinde, we are allowed to off-road. It does do a certain amount of damage to the reserve, so we try and limit when we do drive off-road. So we are definitely going to stick with him and see what he gets up to, but for now we'll send you off to another reserve.
When on safari, there's nothing better than an evening spent under the stars chatting around a fire, with the sounds of the wild all around you. If you sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer, you can build your own memories by joining our guides for regular fireside chats. Subscription payments can be made by PayPal, credit card, and now bank transfer. Wild Earth Explorers, it's in your nature. Across southern and East Africa, the Endangered Wildlife Trust works tirelessly to save species, protect critical habitats, and benefit people. Join the EWT in returning wildlife to the wild. Go to ewt.org.za to find out more and follow our socials to see how you can get involved. Protecting forever, together.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at and Beyond Pinde Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on Wild Earth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
Hello, boy. You are a monster. And he's coming right up to us. Hello, boy. Oh, settle down. Settle down. He is very, very close. He's pushing his trunk against the car. You can feel the car moving. Hey, 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 hey. Stop that.
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth daily.
What fascinates me most about the animal circle of life is the intricacies between the large and the very, very small. I mean, it's very easy to go out there and find the large. Once you found the large, the cascading effect down to the small absolutely fascinates me. Alertness and situation awareness is by far the number one aspect for protecting ourselves out on safari.
Catch up with the guides daily here on Wild Earth.
Welcome back. Beautiful morning light. Talamati Pride. Arriving here on Sandy Patch. He's going to rub his face and our scent mark the tree. Mine, mine, mine. Freshly occupied. Now they were found this morning because of the noises they were making. They were calling. I didn't hear them. Parlours have just spotted them. I didn't hear them, but Abel from Befusuk heard them. So calling is a very good way of partitioning space, and lions do so as to avoid conflict. And then when he moves around, he will scent mark his territory. But we are on a Juma, everybody, the roar of the lion. And the impalas have spotted them for sure now, shouting.
Safari kitty, yes, it happened to me in the Masai Mara. A really formidable big beast of a male lion and a female lioness. We were following them, myself and Manu, and we got in front of them like we do to get a walk by. She decided to use our car as shade, and he decided to walk around my car and scent mark. His tail actually came into the car. It was a bit of a frightening moment because he was just so big. And like most male lions that we encounter, he had an injured front leg. So he was limping. And he had a bit of an issue with his lungs as well. He was making this noise as he walked. Okay, we're going to move quickly because the impalas are running. And the lionesses over here are walking into the open brazenly, not too concerned. They were spotted already. Oh! Stomps out. This little one is got so much character. Now the lions are just walking straight in the open area here. There's not really much in the way of stealth happening. They weren't able to... Hey, don't you look at my wheel like that. They're very playful this morning. And the car is moving, you see, so they think, I can catch that. But it's very important that if a lioness, it doesn't happen with adults, but a young lioness looks at your wheel and starts coming, you've got to stop and go, stop! Because you don't actually want them to be chasing your car, because let alone next thing they're jumping on your car, and that is something you do not want to encourage. Doesn't really happen, but lionesses in this sort of mood when they're very... It happens at night, it happens when they're on the move, it happens when they're hunting. They just want to catch things, and the moving wheel can often be exactly that. These franklins don't know what they're getting themselves into. So 50, they definitely could use a meal. I think that's what they're after. It is still quite fresh this morning, so a good time for them to be moving, and they seem to have moved quite a bit last night. Territorial movements. I was discussing last night on full moons. Very difficult for these animals to hunt. And so I'm guessing because there were tracks of them coming from the centre of Djuma towards where they were found. So it seems like they've been on Djuma already. They probably went to quarantine to look for some dinner last night unsuccessfully. Excuse me. Here we go. Here we go. Playfulness. Beautiful attack. Beautiful takedown on the hips. That is where they need to take down their prey, at the back on the hips. So there's often practice. Lionesses will play all the time, and youngsters learn how to take down on each other. Impala don't know what's going on. They're looking in every direction.
can see what's about to happen, can't you? Beautiful takedown. See, so you start to see that with youngsters with your vehicle, and if you see it, you stop and you just give them a very stern word. They just can't help themselves. It's not that they're doing anything wrong, but if they do want to run after your car and jump on it, they could lead to some serious issues, everybody. So it's not something that should be promoted ever. That's so funny. Unfortunately, they've just gone behind that bush. Let me move up. Lions playing in the golden light, everybody. It doesn't get any better than that. Comes another pounce. These are 3 of the young sub-adults honing their skills on each other. Here comes Dad. No games for Dad. They won't try and tackle him, I can promise you that. You can see the size difference there. He looks, I mean, although he's not enormous male lion, I mean, one of the young males in the pride almost looks the same size as him. That mane, there we go, another bit of scent marking. Rubbing his face, urine spraying. The mane gives him much more of an enormous sort of appearance from the front. It's thick and dark. And for example, the one male in the pride, the youngster, same sort of size, but he doesn't look as big because he doesn't have the mane. But bodily, I think he actually might be slightly larger. He's still a youngster. Okay, we're going to carry on. Follow the pride as they take us all the way back to camp. Debbie Dawn, they are magnificent. I love spending time with lions when they're busy. Obviously, we spend a lot of time with lions, and they often cross up, and then we can't spend any time with them. But when I used to work at Singita, we used to follow lions. I used to follow them all night, all day. Well, when it got hot, they'd lie up and go to rest. But Gert was saying at Ngala it was nice. They'd follow the Birminghams for ages, staying in that property, which was helpful. Right now, the Telematis are going more and more to the heart of Djuma. So while it's still nice and fresh and chilly, good chance they're going to be moving. Whether they're going to catch something is debatable. They're definitely interested. Always interested. But we're now at the back with the youngsters and the big adult male.
So once again, you can see why we track looking in the road. Fresh tracks being left behind. And there is a number of tracks there which would give you an indication that is a pride of lions. Male lion on his own, you'd find just the solo set of tracks. But as soon as there's 3 or 4 lions walking, it becomes quite tricky to work out the number unless they do walk on a wide road like this, and you can almost count the individuals. But you can see how they like to use the roads as game paths, nice and easy access. Facilitates good movement. Territorial boundaries will be demarcated along such access roads. He'll rub up against another bush shortly. One that reaches head height close to the road or on a junction. Probably on the junction of Aubrey's, which is the next one coming up. There is a spot there that I've seen all of our male leopards and female leopards investigate. I think it's going to be too much for him to walk past. Be too many smells.
Standing by. You want to see this now? So I think best is to come up.
Jean, the scent markings are all about other lions. It's about claiming a territory, and so it is done on a boundary. And the reason why they will keep claiming is because others will use the same spot and will investigate. And once an animal or pride wants to take over an area, they will move in. But the indication that he's present and occupying a territory means that they have to be willing to challenge. But often it's on a boundary, so you'll find a road like this, for example, maybe along a major boundary. The male lion of one coalition will scent mark, and the other one of another coalition. Their boundaries will almost overlap to the point where they walk along the same road, not at the same time. They try and avoid doing so, but they'll keep that very specific line between them through the scent mark. The territorial call is something that indicates immediate occupancy, so I'm here right now, but the scent mark lasts for a couple of weeks. So he's going to walk here now. He probably won't walk here again for a few more days or a week or two. If another male lion happened to walk through the area, he'd be like, okay, and he'll keep to one side, keep whatever the other side of the territory might be. Border posts, you could call them. And they are generally along very prominent. Oh, he's walked past it. I can't believe it. I thought he was going to investigate this bush, but it seems like he's got other things on the mind. I think he's waiting for some breakfast. Let's send you over to Trico, see if he's got an update.
So, yeah, we've been driving for a little while. As I said earlier on, it's very cold, and I think these animals haven't moved much. But we almost at the waterhole, just right here, and we're gonna see if there's any animals that have came here to have a drink. I think I'm just gonna pull over just right here. Let's see. Do a little bit of a scan around and see what we can find in this waterhole. I also like the reflection of the trees around this waterhole. Actually, it looks quite nice. Oh, there's a hippo. Did you guys hear that? That was quite a large noise that hippo just made right now. This hippo just made a very loud noise. I think they're also trying to, have a little rest this morning. I would imagine last night they would have been out and about feeding. So in this waterhole, we normally see about 3 hippos. Normally a bull, female, and a youngster. Welcome, Safari Kitty. I'm glad that you can join us. No, indeed. This is stunning. This is amazing. So the bull that, has claimed this watering hole, obviously he'll be much more dominant. And he'll allow other bulls to come through into this waterhole. As long as they're submissive to him, they won't have any problems. But then, sometimes it does happen that these satellite bulls feel like, they're strong enough and they think they can fight off the dominant bull here and possibly take over this waterhole and possibly take over his females. And if you guys can look quite closely to the surface of the water, you can actually see the smoke. And that is because of the coldness. It was actually very early this morning. It was quite misty all around. Just before we started our drive. So yeah, I was expecting that we might see, any other So I believe one viewer is asking, how often do hippos add meat to their diet? A very good question there. So with hippos, I've never ever seen them, eat meat, ever. In the diet, it's only grass that they eat mostly. And also, if you can imagine, their teeth structure, it will be quite difficult to, open up carcasses or actually feeding on meat. I've actually seen them make a kill, but that is like because there was actually these impala that ran into this watering hole and were chased by some wild dogs. And, you know, because they're quite territorial, the hippo just grabbed the impala, you know, and pierced through its body with its huge teeth and just shook it a little bit and just leave it like that. Didn't even feed on it, didn't even do anything to it. So, no, they're not meat eaters. But a very good question there. So I was saying earlier on, I was actually expecting a lot of birds around. You know, I wasn't expecting a lot of mammals to be around because, I mean, it's quite cold to come up here. But as soon as as soon as it gets a little bit warmer and warmer, then these animals might come in and around this waterhole. I think those hippos, what it'll do for now is just basically just rest throughout the day and then move out in the evening. So I think what we'll do now, what do you think, Mpo? I think let's head west and try to see if maybe we can find some cats, maybe some lions in that area. We'll still also keeping an eye out for any signs of leopards. I think that'll be nice to see some spots. But I think to start with, let's go look for lions. And speaking about cats, I think I'm going to send you over to Pinda. I think they have some cats there as well.
Welcome back, everyone. And we're still staying with this lion, and it seems like he is moving right towards where the rest of the pride were. We lost him for a little while. We went through quite a low-lying drainage system, and he popped out on the road on the other side, and we're lucky to still be with him. And the sun is just coming up, which I'm very, very happy about because my hands are freezing. It's interesting, when we lost him, he seemed to go around in a bit of a circle for a while. And he must have picked up a scent or found some sort of information, because now he's really on a mission. It's going to get a little bit bumpy here, it seems like. This road is not very good. There we go. So just looking at him, his belly's not very full. So maybe he's meeting up with the rest of the pride. Maybe he's a little bit hungry. I mentioned earlier how he walked right past some impala. But impala are very difficult for male lions to catch, or for lions in general to catch, because they're so fast and they're not the biggest of antelopes, so it's not the biggest prize for them. If they were to spend Pat, his brother was recently killed by a rival coalition of males, so he's the only male in this territory, sorry, and it looks like he was on a little bit of a territorial patrol. But wow, what a beautiful scene we have. I'll just get alongside him so that you can get a shot of him as he goes. We might have to stop here. Look, he's scent marking. Wow. This is so awesome. You can see there's a little bit of a wound on the shoulder as well. So I think that wound was probably made in that fight with the male a few weeks ago. There's also one just above his right eye, which you can see now. Notice how he stopped. And he seems to be trying to pick up on a scent at the moment. He is getting closer and closer to where the rest of the pride of lions that are within his territory were last seen. It looks like he's definitely trying to work out which direction, if they have moved, because they probably moved last night and he was with them yesterday morning. If I were to guess, I'd say he's probably going to make his way, there he goes, back to the road. And I think he'll just keep moving along the road. It's a lot easier for them to move through than this long grass that we have on the reserve at the moment. But it seems like he's definitely just trying to double check if he's going in the right direction. Wow. Yeah, and now he's going to keep going. I think he'll probably keep going. So we're going to stick with him and we'll send you off to Steve with his lines.
Welcome back. Talamati Pride on the move. And just emerging out here into the western side of quarantine. That boy is going to be a monster. Slowly, slowly they move. Just here on the junction with Zoe's and western quarantine. Off to our sort of western side here on the left. There's potentially some animals in the thickets which we can't see, but they seem to have a bit of a... ones in front of us seem to be looking towards them. Here comes one of the boys. He's been right at the back, taking it really slowly. Not as slowly as Dad, though. Dad's still coming. But he's caught up. How blessed are we this morning? Okay, so up ahead, lions are in the road. One has just gone off into the left here. Two have gone off into the left. So this strategy that we see of lions forming what we call a bit of a net, they might see some animal that they want to hunt, or group of animals, and then some will go down the road and some will start to fan out into the thickets. And often what happens is that they go around it and they chase animals back towards waiting lions. This is an area where the wildebeest have been hanging out, lots of impala. Doug, well, the male lions stay with the pride as long as they can. There's no real time frame. Some male lions survive longer than others. Darkmane has been with this pride for 2.5 years already. He's been here since the middle of 2018. So, sure, 3 years now. When I started, this pride emerged on the scene. Whether they were dominant or looking after the prides at that stage is, I don't think, happened. I think it started happening towards the end of that year. And his primary role is defense of the cubs. Now he's looked up to see them going off into the thickets. He's like, oh yeah, this is promising. Breakfast, please, breakfast. Now there's blood on the animals' bodies, around the neck, from claw marks. There's a very good indication that they made a small kill at some point, maybe an impala or something even smaller, and that obviously didn't go very far because you can't see it in the tummies. But it would have been a very violent separation of the meat, which led to claw marks on the face and necks of the individuals trying to feed. And that's why they're on the move again, to try and fill the bellies. So he's taking it last. I'm going to cut through here. It's going to be interesting to see where they come out, because they're going through the open area. And if they keep going, they could end up going through that Rebecca's drainage, which could be very tricky. It's going to do a big wide loop here. They're all going through the silver cluster leaf thicket over here and spreading out, which is often a sign that they've spotted something. So we want to give them space. We want to give the animals that are potentially being hunted also space. I haven't seen anything yet. Out in the open, prepaid every day. The youngsters always playing with each other. The adult lionesses are also okay. So this one, it looks like she's quite focused. The adult lionesses will also attack each other, tackle each other. Play never stops. Whenever they start getting up and mobile, so can happen a few times a night. Lions will hunt and rest and hunt and rest and hunt and rest. And during all of those hunting sessions, there can be bouts of play. Very powerful animals. Their playing is also a very good way of stretching. Very good way of toning their bodies. Like an athlete needs to stretch. And think about it like an MMA fighter. He needs to physically practice his fighting with friends before going into the ring when the real deal happens. You can't just step up, go climb into the ring. You will hurt yourself. The muscles don't stretch like that. The muscles under tension like that will hurt. You'll be in a lot of pain. So every day conditioning. So when they do jump on a buffalo or a zebra, the tautness and the conditioning of the muscle and body is perfectly attuned and ready to go. So just like that, we've only got visual of one. You can hear some small birds alarm calling off to the left. I think members of the pride have already crossed. Some are still coming. We got them up there. Okay, some are still coming on the right. I can see one. Now, this is where it always gets interesting. lions spread out throughout the landscape here. If one has decided to go around, which is probably the case, the prey animal running away in a group pick a lion and they go for it, and sometimes they run straight towards waiting lions, and lions then can either try and attack them or tackle them, or give up completely because the lion or the distance is too far. I think Pinda had a video go viral recently of impala running and coming straight back towards the vehicle, and the distance and the speed with which this lioness covers ground to take that impala out is just unbelievable. And that physicality of grabbing something with your full body strength and rolling with it, falling with it, lying with it kicking, hooves, body, everything in its life, trying to keep itself alive, requires an enormous amount of strength in a lion's body to hold on and to not injure. So this play that they have every day, the youngsters seem to be a little bit more playful at certain times, especially when the adults are on the hunt, but there's nothing that stops the adult lionesses from playing either. Okay, it looks like they're moving without too much purpose at the moment. Okay, well, we're going to try and reposition and get a view and see what it is they're after while we send you over to Angus and his male lion.
This lion has just crossed over quite a steep section, and I don't know if we're going to be able to follow him there. There's a road on the other side, but for now it's probably still quite a distance away. So I think we'll just try and watch him from here. But such a beautiful scene now. The sun's just come up, which I'm so chuffed about. You can really see how quickly he's been moving. He's probably moved about 8 kilometers with us this morning. And there he goes off into the sunrise. It was really special to be able to spend time with a male lion, though. It's always one of the best things to see out here, actually. There's a reason why he's called the king of the jungle, even though it's not really the jungle per se out here. It's more like the king of the savannah. But you can just see it's so regal and beautiful. So we're going to try and find him again. But for now, we'll send you over to somewhere else.
Helping kids to fall in love with nature is critical. Our future depends on it. Wild Earth has had the opportunity to take many children from all over the world on safari, some from right here on our doorstep.
Welcome to those of you watching from Hananani Primary School, just outside Dixie Village.
They love learning about nature because, now we're having like a crisis of like rhino poaching. We all need each other. So it is very, very important for the kids to learn about animals, on how to save them or even to protect them.
My favorite animal is an elephant because they are very cute, although they're eating the trees or the plants. But they are still very cute to me.
The way they explained the animals, asking questions, and we saw our names on the screen, it was so exciting.
Our bodies are made up of about 60% water, which means that in a very short space of time, you can dehydrate completely. A relatively efficient way of collecting water early in the morning is to take an absorbent material like a sock and to walk through the grass, absorbing the condensed dewdrops on the grass. Once the material is saturated, you can then squeeze it out into a container, or you can suck it out directly into your mouth.
I love being a cam up for Wild Earth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephant, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. Can you see them? They are right here. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth daily.
Welcome back, everybody, where Talamatis are on the move. Nothing definite in their sights. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow them very far here. Could possibly go around. We might have an access, but there they are, just going through the thickets to my right. And it doesn't seem like they've got their intention on anything, but we will keep a bit of distance. Just listening. Some birds are not happy. So they do this stop and start movement through the vegetation. Some of the animals will actually come into this area now that the sun is shining. Bear in mind, lions do a lot of movement without successful hunts. It's kind of what happens. Lee's made your day, Miss Pride. Well, it's always nice to spend time with lions on the move. Always nice to spend time with lions on the move, but they're crossing a little drainage here that doesn't look passable to me. No. Going to have to find another way around. They're going to come out onto Rebecca's Road. It's just on the other side there. Okay, well, we're going to try to get around. Send you back over to Angus and Pinder.
Back, everyone. And what we're going to do now, we are just going to try and wait around here. There's a few vehicles looking for him, so we just lost sight of this lion. And now we've come to the road on the other side. So what we're going to do, we'll probably just split ourselves up. It looks like he was going up towards high up on the mountain. So I think we probably have a good chance of finding him again. We've just been doing some really tough off-roading, which is one of the most fun parts of the job for me. It's nice to go and look for an animal and get off the road a little bit. But as we wait here, we'll just try and listen. Often when you're looking for animals, especially predators, it's good to just listen out for any sounds in the area. When they're moving, things like monkeys or birds could make alarm calls, and that's sometimes the best way to find them. But a very, very beautiful scene in front of me here. It's nice to have you all with us for this live safari. Okay, we'll just start slowly moving. I think he was heading a little bit further up. So while we're looking for this lion, we'll send you over to Trekker.
Welcome back, everybody. So as we promised, we're going to be looking for some cats. And right in front of your screen, we have found one of the Birmingham male. One of the white lions we have here on Ingala. So if you look all over his face, you look right close on his face, you will notice there's a bit of blood, sort of like reddish color. Even on his legs as well, you'll see there's quite a bit of blood there. So yesterday when we saw him in a rest of the young lions that he was with, their bellies were so flat, so they didn't eat at all yesterday, but I think they caught something either somewhere last night or early this morning. But if you look on the chest, you'll notice there's something, a bit of black and white on the chest of this lion. All right? Let's put it a little bit close for you guys. Can you see that? So that is a quill, okay? So that blood that I was talking about, this lion was feeding on a porcupine. As you can see, that quill there that is stuck on the chest of this lion. I mean, how incredible is that? I mean, taking down a porcupine is no joke. I mean, those quills can be quite devastating. And also, I guess, hunger makes you, go for animals that, even though sometimes they can be quite dangerous, but these lions had to make a plan. Since there are no other older lions with them that might help to take down bigger prey. Beautiful animal. And also, even though, it's quite spectacular and amazing having to experience these sort of rare white lions here in Ingala. But also for them, hunting can be quite difficult. Oh, look at that. I mean, look at his belly. He's gonna look away. But you could see his belly as he stood up. You could see how big it is. So he definitely fed. Lisa, welcome. I'm glad that you can join us. I believe you're asking, are white lions attractive to the other lionesses? Yes, they are. I mean, they really are. I don't think they see the color though. because they all treat each other the same. So I don't think for them, these lions being white, then, they probably may be less attractive or seeing them being different. No, they treat each other the same. And yeah, this white male lion, he is very attractive, and I think these females, as you grow older, they will tend to be even more attractive to him. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the distance. Actually, where that lion is looking. Let's listen. There were some jackals calling in the distance. So as I was saying earlier on, even though it's quite amazing having these animals here, but hunting can tend to be a little bit difficult when you are that white. I mean, imagine trying to hunt when you are that bright. They stand out a lot, so these prey animals tend to see them quite quickly. I believe one viewer is asking, do I think he'll be able to take out that quill? That is a good question. I think it will. I think eventually that quill will definitely comes off, yes. I think what this young male lion did was quite brave, because quills can actually, to some extent, can be quite dangerous and can actually even kill them. So I mean, imagine biting through that sharp quills, and if they pierce through their mouth, maybe even up onto the nose, that could be quite devastating for these lions. But it looks like he did manage to, find his way, managed to take it down and fed on it without any bigger problems. I mean, look at that. It's just blood all over his legs. And I think he decided now he's gonna go down onto a shade since it's getting a little warm now. Then also the direction where he's looking, there were some zebras that were moving into the thicket. I think that's what caught his attention as well. This looks like he's walking that way. Oh, maybe he might be going to a different shade. I'm going to keep an eye out on him and see where he goes. If he lay down, because there's a shade where he was going. But these are the other rest of the members of the pride, you see. Them lifting their heads. Just watching the other male walking. I don't see the zebras anymore. I think they've went even further away from these animals. That other male, he has decided to actually lay down. So he didn't pursue those zebras that he initially had interest on. So these ones, the tawny ones that have the heads up that you're looking at, these are the two young males, same age as the other white male that walked out or walked off the frame. And there's a female white one that is laying down there. I'm quite surprised that she is hanging out with these males. You know, you would think she'll hang out with the rest of the other members of the pride, you know, her mom and her aunts and everybody. She's sticking around and spending much more time with these sub-adult males. So sometimes it makes me think that maybe in the long run they might separate themselves and maybe form their own pride. I believe one viewer is asking, when does manes of lions begin to grow? So at about 10 to 11, you see the mane start showing. 1 year old, I'll still see a little bit more coming out. And these guys here that you're looking at, they are around 2.5 years old. And they already have manes, even though the mane is not yet fully developed. But as they grow, it'll get much more bigger. But then you see that guy that is standing up, the mane is only visible on the chest. But as they grow older, they're gonna start to grow around, in and around the neck, and on the back of their necks as well.
Do you dream of an African holiday in unparalleled luxury? Where your days are spent in the company of wildlife and cooling off in your very own plunge pool? Well, this month's prize may be the one for you. Expertly camouflaged into the unspoiled environment of the world-famed Sabi Sand Game Reserve, it's hard not to fall in love with Simbambili. Sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer before the end of May, and you and a friend could be jetting off to this ultimate escape from reality. A luxurious safari and spa getaway wrapped up in one impressive package. Wild Earth Explorers, it's in your nature.
Take 27. I'm Carol from Chicago, USA. This is me 5 years ago. No music, no editing, real time. I was hooked. Thank you so much for that, Wild Earth.
I had lost my job, and I also lost one of my pets. So Wild Earth has seen me through very hard times, and I just want to thank all of you for being there for me when I needed you most.
We love you. We start and end our day with you, teaching our grandkids all about nature through you, your wonderful educational safaris.
We really do appreciate being on safari with you, especially when it's cold and wintry in Canada.
And considering we've been in lockdown for 18 months here in Saudi and have not been able to fly back to South Africa, I want to thank you for bringing your safari back into my life every single day and night. I love it, love it, love it.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
So we haven't managed to find that male lion again, but as we've been moving around, we did manage to spot this juvenile battalier at the top of this fever tree. And it's a very, very gorgeous scene. Fever trees are some of my favorite trees, and Johan was saying they're also definitely one of his. Something about that yellow bark just makes them very, very special. And this battalier is probably just roosting there. They usually try and fly when it gets a little bit warmer. The reason being is when it is warmer during the day, there's updrafts of hot air that are rising, and that means the battaliers can actually just almost hitch a ride on those drafts of air and use very little energy to soar around. They have very long, broad wings, and those wings allow them to soar while using not much of their very, very precious energy. You can see that blue color of the bill now, which you'll only find on juvenile battaliers. It takes them almost about 7 years to reach their full plumage and coloration. And notice there's not much of a tail there. So those two feathers that you see on the right and on the left are actually the end of its wings. I think that lion is somewhere close by. I just hear a lot of calls coming all of a sudden. But let me show you what I'm talking about in terms of the battalier. I'll just show you in my book. So you can see here what we're looking at is a brown eagle with a blue-greenish coloured bill. And when I mentioned it takes about 7 years for them to get their full coloration. And this is what they would look like when they're adults. So you'll see those like red, pink legs. Also not really a tail. So if you look at the pictures of them in flight, the tails are really, really small compared to a lot of the other birds of prey. And also the bill colour is that beautiful red. So that's how you'll be able to tell the difference between males, or not males, but younger ones and older battaliers. So I mentioned earlier how they wait for updrafts of air. It's actually very uncommon to see them fly on days where it's not hot or sunny. So they'll probably just wait in trees and sit out the day and wait for better weather. Sounds like my type of safari, that. Just wait for the good weather. Debbie, I don't think they are migratory. They are quite uncommon though, so there's estimated to be less than 1,500 of them. So there's estimated that they only about 1,500 of them left in South Africa, which is not a lot. So in the last 100 years or so, their numbers have really declined because they're limited to these wildlife and conservation areas. So they basically are predominantly scavengers. So they need these areas for small animals to be able to find for food. So they basically work like a vulture. They'll soar up high up in the air and look for things with their excellent eyesight. And as the areas or as protected and wildlife areas decrease here in southern Africa and in Africa, obviously the numbers have taken a little bit of a toll. You often see them flying around close to vultures as well, so if there is a carcass around, they won't want to lose any chance to get some food or get at that prey. There is a waterhole next to them, and it's quite common to see them perched in trees quite close to water. They are not migratory. Sorry, I don't know if I got to that yet. So I just checked in my book now. They are resident animals. So this Batidia will probably be in this area for most of its life. I suppose it is a youngster, so they'll be pushed away by adults if it's encroaching on another one's territory. Let's send you over to Steve with his lions.
Well, welcome back everybody. Managed to get around into Rebecca's, and they came out on the game path. We anticipated them to do so. Now, Darkmane came and stood right next to me, and doesn't matter how many times it happens, everyone. He was standing, it's probably the first time I've had a male lion standing eye level with me in the car. Normally they're a little bit lower, but because he's on this little bank right next to us on the side of the road, he was looking right in my eyes. Quite a feeling. Quite a feeling. You'll actually see how close he is to us now, but he was standing right here, eye level. He was like, hello. Now, no, I mustn't move very quickly now, but I shall, to show you the rest of the pride. There they are. They've all moved up, and the two adults in the golden light in front, they stopped and were staring into this drainage. Well, one's not an adult, actually. The one yawning is a youngster. They stopped and were staring into the drainage to the left. Now, this is the drainage line between Rebecca's Road and Quarantine, the open area. And the sun is finally starting to warm up. It's possible after their walking, their exertions, they're starting to counteract or work on the energy requirements required to keep moving in the heat. That one got up a bit early this morning. That's it. It is one of the best kinds of roadblocks. I'm a big fan of elephant roadblocks as well. Lions in the road. Can't complain. Now they're looking off to the right now. We don't know. Not all of them are there. It's possible that, how many did we count earlier? 6 lionesses and 2 young males, but that's all we counted. It could be more. be some adults that have gone off. And these ones are waiting. You can always see where their intention is, the ears all facing the same direction. Well, Liam, have a look for yourself. All these youngsters in the pride are potentially his. He hasn't been thrown out yet, and his cubs are alive. His cubs have gotten past the 16th, 16th month sort of window. That is the sort of level that has sort of been gauged as if a lion can get past 16 months, it will probably survive. So they're up to the 2-year mark now, somewhere around there. Might be just over 2, maybe just under, I'm not 100% sure. They're a few months older than the Nkuhuma Pride. Nkuhuma Pride first 2 youngsters will be turning 2 next month, in June. And just like that, up they go. So yes, successful, he's done well. That is his job, to protect his cubs, to get them to adulthood, although they haven't become fully fledged adults yet. They are going to, and they look like they're going to do very well. Here he comes, just to show us. It's like, you're talking about me? Let me strut my stuff into the golden light. And to have done all of that with a broken foot, it's testament to the resilience of these animals. He is a big male. He's bigger than his 2 brothers. The one youngster in the pride, one male, is definitely bodily bigger than him. I don't know if it's this one. I think it might be that one. And the other male is substantially smaller. As you know, there's not always one male responsible for impregnating the females. So you can get different male genes in the pride. But he'd look after all of them as if they're his own. I have to step carefully now, though, the 2 young males, because, well, they're going to start competing quite heavily with the females and trying to take a little bit more of the meat as well. Okay, well, Chico is still with his lines. Let's go see what they're up to.
Welcome back, everybody. So we're still sitting with these animals here. As you can see, they're just laying down flat. So remember earlier when I was talking about that porcupine quill? So it looks like it's not only the porcupine that these lions fed on, because majority or all of them actually, they're quite full. And a porcupine, it's a very small animal. I don't think it would have filled up all these lions here. So I think whatever they kill was something big, maybe a kudu or fully grown impala, male. Or wildebeest, maybe a baby wildebeest. At this point, we can only assume because there's no sign of that carcass anywhere around here. So they could have killed it maybe further west where they were actually last night. Then finished it and then moved off into this area here. I mean, as you can see, if you look at the belly of that male, you'll see it's very extended. It looks a bit bulgy. Even that female laying next to him almost looks like he's swallowing a basketball there. Incredible. To be honest, like, because they're so full right now, I don't think they'll move much. The only thing that will make them move is the shade. So that's the only thing that it might change around as the day progresses. And then later on, maybe go find some water. There is some few pans around close to this area where they can go and have a bit of water, or they can head further east and get some water to help digest the food that they've just eaten. I don't think I did cover it, but I believe Jade is asking how big can a lion get as an adult. So Jade, a lion can, especially the males, they can get very, very big. Okay, so around 190 to 200 kgs, they can get to that size, especially for the males. And the females, 180 to 189, but the males, they can get very, very big. To some extent, some places there are lions that would reach 240 along that line. So they can get quite big. I mean, these ones here that we have, or the ones that you see on your screens, they're still young. I mean, the other female on the other side, and this one here close by, they around 1.5 years old, and this male is around 2.5. And it's already looking very big, and I think it's going to be a very, very big lion. Because even with this mother is actually the same size as the male that we see. I mean, I'm talking about when she's standing. And she has such incredible genes. So I think with him, as you grow older, I mean, we can also see some resemblance in certain features with his mom. So I think it's going to be a very, very big lion. But then I said, if some other prey animals come around here, I mean, obviously if they can't see them while laying down, yes, they might get up, lift their heads up, and if it's worth to go for, they'll go. Because remember, even though they're full, they're opportunistic animals. But other than those reasons that I've mentioned, there's no reason to move around. Save much more energy and move when it's much cooler. Totally welcome. I'm glad that you can join us in this beautiful morning on Ingala. I believe your question is, do I know where the rose mills are? That's a good question. We haven't seen the rose mills in like, I think 2 or 3 days. So, remember the rose mills, they don't only operate on Ingala. They do move out of Ingala. Mostly they'll go west, okay, because there's that breakaway pride that was part of this pride that we're looking at here. So they operate between these two prides. And in the west, where I'm talking about, they actually cross out of our boundaries and go into some other areas where it's outside of Ingala. So I'm thinking, because 2 days back, I saw some tracks of them heading west. We also tried to look for them as well, but we didn't find them. So I think they are, for now, out of the property, but they will eventually come back because this is also their territory. Very nice and quiet here. I think, obviously, they're not going to move much. So I think we're going to leave these animals be and, continue to drive around and see what else we can find. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to send you over to Steve. I think he also has some lions.
Back, everyone. Well, the lions have all emerged out here onto the junction of Philemon's cut line. Rebecca's very close to the access to the hyena den. And definitely something been moving, something in the drainage where Tingana made a kill the other day. That's got the attention of a couple of these lionesses. Isn't this just a wonderful scene here in the open? I think that's the boy there on the right, eh? At the size of him versus dark mane. He's lacking the proud mane of his father, but he's definitely got a size. That's him next to a fully grown female. He's a big boy. He's a very big boy. He's very pretty too. His brother is much smaller than him. It's not too much bigger than one of the lionesses. Unreal, really, that we've been with this pride the whole morning since the beginning on our own. Not complaining. And then when they settle down and go flat, we're going to have people interested to come and view them. When we've had walk by after walk by. Very special. Some oxpeckers have just taken off from the drainage there, and quite a lot of them. They could have been off of a big animal, like that lone buffalo bull that we've had around, or a giraffe. quite a few oxpeckers took off. It could also just be a kudu or an impala. It's hard to say. But we're going to stay with these lions out here because they're in the open. We do have a few of them that have gone into the thickets on our right-hand side, directly towards where those oxpeckers are. And the reason the oxpeckers flew off is potentially because that animal moved due to probably becoming aware of the lion without any alarm call. This strategy of spreading out. Obviously they don't always see all the animals that are around, but they start picking up their smells. So by spreading out like this, if anything does run towards them, they have the potential to cut them off. Nancy, yes, there's definitely overlaps. There's sort of a fluidity to it. I remember when I first started here, the Talamati Pride never used to come down here. And then when they did, they'd arrive on quarantine and they'd be gone again the same morning. They wouldn't even stay. And slowly but surely, as they start venturing more into Djuma, and they start noticing the absence of the Nkuhuma Pride sort of marking, they would push more in. So we see a lot of fluidity in the Lion Pride territories in the Mara with the migration, because there's an abundance of food. Territory is essentially the demarcation of an area for food resource. And so by having a bit of a fluid movement, they're not as... Obviously, when lions see each other, they can be very aggressive towards each other, as Pat witnessed with a hippo kill, or a dead hippo in the Mara River. And two prides came together. It was a very violent affair. They try and avoid interacting with each other, so they will call and they will keep boundaries, but those boundaries sometimes are crossed over, but then those animals don't stay. They might go hunting into the territory of another, but they know they're in the wrong if they get caught by that other pride, and they're essentially on the back foot. It's like going over into hostile territory. You don't know the area as well, and the owners have a little bit more at stake by holding that territory. So you quite often find, I had the Styx Pride a couple times come in, make a kill, leave again, not even sticking around for the morning, just killing and leaving. And this happens all the time. Lion prides move, but they do try and stick to territories which are demarcated by the prides for their sort of food resource, and then the males will demarcate areas that encompass a couple of prides. Mohawk having decided to, not Mohawk, Darkmane having decided to stay with the Talamati Pride, and his two brothers with the Nkuhumas, although I think they might have also been seen with other prides by this stage. And once again, they're on the move. Through the fields of dwarf sage, back onto the road, and heading south. Now, they're going to come to Pangolin track and they're going to turn east, I'm almost certain. I haven't seen this pride go further south than that. And definitely when the Nkuhumas were here last time, they hung out in Rebecca's, and this road here was essentially sort of a boundary that they moved along. And they didn't actually go much further, although they did go into quarantine and make a kill, and then left again. Okay, so they're going to go through this drainage now. A few of them have gone in, some of them on the road. There's definitely something in this drainage system. And in their large numbers, big sweeping net might uncover it. Remember, whoever catches it will try and bring it down, and the rest will descend on it very quickly. Taylor, well, it seems like they've been on the move all night by the tracks. And they haven't really stopped today. They've been moving and moving. I think they've stopped for a couple of minutes. This was the longest little stop that we've seen them have. So what drives animals? There's many, many drivers. The need to rest is obviously quite an important driver, but hunger drive can outweigh that until eventually the energy lost during the heat outweighs that. Uh-oh. Oh. He's running. Why is Dark Mane running? Why did you... He did a little hop, skip and a jump there. I think maybe an animal ran through here. I heard some grass moving. Yeah, I can see him here. He did a bit of a... You saw that? And now he didn't look very elegant there, Dark Mane, when you were doing a bit of a gallop. Please don't go through here now. This is not going to be fun if you go through here. You're going to go on to Ingwe Alley. See, this is exactly where Tingana had his kill the other day. No doubt they would smell it. Come and have a little look. They're going to go through there. Made his kill right here under this bush. Let me see if anyone else is available to come and help. They're going to cross onto Ingwe Alley side. See, they won't go further than Pangolin Track, which is the next one coming up. Stations, I'm still with the Talamati Pride. They look like they're about to cross the drainage towards Ingwe Alley from Weaver's Nest. They might carry on walking down this drainage. I can see he's expecting, isn't he? He can almost smell it. He's like, where's this food? I want to eat. I'm hungry like a lion. Okay, so now is when we have to make decisions based on their movements. Looks like he's going through. She might go through. I'm not going to go through. On board, we have a very special guest joining our live safari today. We have Sue Fogel, who has bought a ticket to Dream.
It was an easy decision to purchase a ticket to Dream because I've been working with animals for my whole life. And I think what Wild Earth does here, bringing live safaris into your home, is just remarkable.
If you want to go on safari with a Wild Earth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
Well, since I've been watching for such a long time, I thought it would be a good idea for me to come here in person.
Sign up to be a Wild Earth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
If you have a chance to do it, I highly recommend it. To feel the sun on your face and the wind in your hair and to smell the smells and just kind of be in the animal's presence. It's undescribable. I highly recommend it.
For many years, Wild Earth has taken viewers from around the world to the Mara Triangle, a place of majestic beauty and abundant wildlife. But it wasn't always like this. Before 2001, it was infested with poachers. Illegal harvesting and hunting was rife. Now the situation couldn't be more different. The hard work and dedication of the Mara Conservancy has revolutionized this magical land. But now, the loss of revenue from tourism has created a grave crisis. The Mara Conservancy needs help if they are to continue protecting the reserve and supporting the local communities whose livelihood depend on its survival.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially sub-adults and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, the lions have smelt something, and in this tree is a carcass. It's a very awkward tree to climb. This young male has tried to climb it. It's been plucked. He's busy sniffing on the floor, but let's see if we can identify what it looks like. It kind of looks like it might have been a warthog, but I can't really... Oh, it might be a civet. Can you see, Gert? I can't really tell. It's a dead animal. This one is looking at the fur on the floor. Being plucked. And it does seem to be spots. So I'm thinking it was a civet. Tingana is a civet eater. But this young male tried to get up. Let's see if this female is going to have any luck. But the smell, everybody, I can't actually tell you what it smells like. It is beyond comprehension right now. And she's going to awkwardly try and get herself in there. Problem is, she can't go backwards. She's going to have to turn around. Now she's regretting her choice. Beautiful low-felt milkberry. Not every day you see a lion in a tree. Many of you are commenting that as well now. Oh, she's going to decide whether she actually wants it. She's decided she doesn't even want it. After all that, that is how pungent it is, everybody. She got there, gave it a sniff and went, oh my goodness, what am I doing up here? Oh. Are you ready for the dismount? We're gonna ask you to rate this out of 10. We do it with leopards quite often. They are very good at dismounting. Lions, on the other hand, it's not their forte. You ready? Here she goes. Brother's gonna stand in the way, of course. Move out the way, silly boy. That was very well executed. Very well executed, and Goodness me, the smell, everybody, I can't actually describe to you. FC gives it a 9. Okay, FC, well, she did it a little bit awkwardly. I thought there was going to be a bit more of a jump, but there was no jump. There was more of just a sprawl. He's not convinced that it's not worth going up. He was the first one attempting it. Don't you learn your lessons from others? Nope. I'm not quite sure how she did that. She must be smaller than me. Oh, I wish I was a leopard right now. Oh, he's making contact calls. He wants it. I don't know if you really want it, boy. He's decided no. Elizabeth, a good job for dismount, I agree. Wasn't too bad. Now we're going to have to try and follow them. I'm going to have to probably go around. I don't think I'm going to get through this side. Okay, well, while we wait for Darkmane to walk past us, I'm going to link back over to Angus in and beyond Pinder.
Welcome back. And we tried to go look for the cheetah that we left last night, but I think after all that excitement with that lion, I think we may have got there a little bit too late and they are gone without a trace. So I've got no idea where they are at the moment. But I think what we'll do, we'll just bumble around and try and see what we find.
Just not so or down on the River James Road or from the junction of Battleground.
Such a beautiful scene. There's still quite a lot of mist that hasn't cleared yet. But we'll just drive around that area where these cheetah have been. It might be a long shot, but I don't imagine them to have gone too far yet this morning. So we're going to keep driving around here and we'll send you back to Trico in the riverbed at Ngala.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. So as you can see right in front of your screens is this herd of elephants digging around, looking for water. Some of them already found some water and already drinking. There's also some youngsters there as well. Quite amazing how these elephants can be able to smell this water underground and then start digging. All of these elephants that you see here, they're all females and they're youngsters. In the youngsters, there could be some males within them, but it's a little bit difficult to tell when they are that young, especially with the little tiny one there. I mean, that very small one that is further right on your screens there. Still very small. So maybe about a month old. And an elephant that is standing close to it, that's probably mom. So I think we're having some technical problems. Can't really copy any of your questions, but that little one there, you'll see mom, normally she will just, dig, and then the little one will come and drink where mom has dug, or where the rest of this herd had dug around. And I think at that age, still hasn't have full control of its trunk. So normally if it wants to drink, it will basically just lift its trunk up and puts its face right into the ground and drink using its mouth rather than using the normal trunk, sucking up the water and then putting it into its mouth. Yeah, so that youngster, that is a male, as you can see in between its back legs. So gestation period of these elephants are quite long. So that mother would have carried that baby for 22 months. That is quite a long time. And I guess one question you would ask is, why do they have these long gestation periods? So elephants are not territorial at all. They move quite often, feeding. So what happens is when this mother is pregnant, by nature that baby needs to develop very well while being in the stomach of the mother. So by the chance this mother drops, or by the time the mother gives birth to this youngster after 22 months, this youngster between an hour or so has to be able to move around the rest of the herd. The process, it's called precocial or precocial youngsters or precocial babies. And then for those youngsters, they're actually learning from the rest of the herd. So right now, it's actually a learning process of where to find water as well, where to find food in and around the reserve. So that by the time they're older, they know where to go. Because remember, these females are the matriarchs. This is the social structure in which they live in. As they get older, they live up to 60 to 65 years old, and what kills them is their teeth. Because their teeth wear down, and they have 6 sets of teeth throughout their lifetime. As soon as that last set of teeth come in, basically, you know, as they feed using them, they'll start to wear down and wear down and wear down to a point where they can't chew properly. And then they will die of starvation. And then those youngsters, as they're older, they will take over and become the next matriarchs of the herd. And eventually get their own youngsters as well, and then the process continues. But the males that are in this herd, I mean, that youngster that we saw that is at the back, I think it's suckling now. You know, at around 14 to 15 years old, they'll have to leave this herd. Look at the youngster is looking at us, and now he has his head down. And sometimes they do that just because they are, you know, very curious. See the youngsters also trying to look at us. And I think for it, it's just like looking at this foreign thing that it can see. I'm trying to figure what it is exactly it's looking at. And you can see it's now following from behind, following Mom. I guess that's Mom because it's staying right next close to it. I think this elephant is slowly coming a little bit closer. We're gonna probably move so that we give them enough space, you know, to move around and not close their way. Let's wait out and see if it's gonna move. It's moving a little bit further off. Alright, I think we're gonna try to move off and give them a bit of space here. Because I think they're yeah, the youngsters just making a lot of noise. Listen to that. All right, I think we're gonna give it a little bit of space because this elephant is right behind us, giving us a look. So we can't really copy anything at all. I'm gonna try to reposition so that we have another angle of them. And also because that female, the youngster, moved a little bit closer to where we were, I'm thinking the rest might go in the same direction the other one went. Let's try to give us another different angle here. All right. And we apologize at this moment. As you know how difficult it is to film in Africa. I can't really copy some of your questions at the moment, but I'm sure the team is working very hard to get the communication and your comments back up again.
We have received our second batch of name plaques, which is super exciting, and Marcel is busy mounting them as we speak. For those of you that don't know, we are offering the opportunity for Wild Earth explorers to get their names engraved on a plaque like this. Once your name is on the plaque, it will then be attached onto the vehicle. Marcel, what are you up to?
I'm busy mounting plaques on Trusty Rusty.
This means that even though you're at home watching this, it'll still feel as though you're on the vehicle with us as we bumble about the bush. This means that V&A, Prajash, Melanie Greenwood, Linda J. Poley and Stephen Humbert will be riding along with us as we bumble through the bush, even though you're watching it from home. Now that the name plaques are on the back of the vehicle, it's time for us to head out and go and see what we can find.
Founded in 1973, the Endangered Wildlife Trust has consistently and effectively worked towards achieving our conservation legacy. Contribute to this legacy by visiting EWT's Get Wild eShop and purchase products with a purpose.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at Wild Earth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, you're going to have to register on the website, but once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
We have a baby pangolin, a baby pangolin. This is off the charts. This animal is about from your fingertips to your elbow. That's the total length of this animal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is like now my 4th Christmas in a week. We should do this more often.
Tune into Wild Earth every single day. It's in your nature.
So this giraffe has just been feeding on this woolly caperbush. That woolly caperbush is a creeping type of plant that would use other existing structures to grow up. And you can actually see it's been eaten quite a lot, probably from giraffe. There's like a... Oh, he's scratching his ear. He got the end of that dead tree right inside there. This is awesome. So we first found him, he was walking along the road right towards us, and over time he's got closer and closer. So this is a male, and sometimes you'll find them on their own like this. Usually females will be in bigger groups. Those groups don't necessarily have any permanent nature to them. Wow, this is really cool. Lovely with the Lebombo Mountains behind him. And it's still quite misty in the background, so the sun hasn't managed to really get through here yet, so there's still a lot of mist from the cold night hanging around in the air, so it's just a... It's just a really special scene here. Seems like he's just walking for a little bit and then he'll stop. Keep going. I don't think he's that interested in feeding, so there's quite a lot of fever trees that he would have been able to feed on if he had gone quite close by. But for now, it seems like he's on a bit of a mission. So, Matthew, giraffe don't have a breeding season. They would breed throughout the year, similar to animals like Nyala would. Oops, let me just try and stay with him. He is moving right towards the road, so we might as well go towards him. That's probably good enough. Luckily, he's a big, tall animal in a relatively open area, so we were able to see him for quite a while. They're actually such silent animals and they don't often make noises. And they walk quite strangely. Notice how both legs on each side of its body will go forward at one time. So when he does move, both the left legs will go forward, front left and back left. And they'll move together, which is very different from a lot of the other animals around here. Now that he stopped, let me just take a chance to... Sorry, I really am struggling to start my vehicle this morning. I just want to go up to the top of this ridge, and it'll even be nice to get on the other side of him, so the sun is lighting him up. At the moment he's very silhouetted. You can see that mist I was talking about up ahead of me. Wow, now you can really, when I stop soon, you'll be able to get a good view of all these plains around us. Okay, here we go. Bit of a cool breeze blowing this morning. See, he's just stopped and is staring at something now. Maybe it's those cheetah we've been looking for all morning. That would be great. When looking for predators, this can sometimes help us.
Down for break, Rolls-Royce.
Lovely patterns on his body. You can see on the back, on his back, it's a lot darker. He's actually a little bit dirty. So how that happens is when they're using their tail to swat away flies, the hair on the end of his tail is often full of, well, a little bit wet and maybe has some dust on it. And then as he's flicking the flies off him, in certain areas he'll do that quite often, and his back will become a little bit dirtier, which you can actually see in your shot now as well. There we go, thanks Jan. You can see him, he was swishing his tail now. Cat-eye? No, I haven't experienced any aggressive behavior with giraffe before. I have seen it on videos though, but I know that it's not very common that you would get that. Well, not aggression towards me. So I have seen giraffe chase a leopard before. It was very, very cool to watch. So it was a very inquisitive leopard she's an adult, and she decided that she wanted to try and stalk a whole herd of female giraffe for some reason. And, well, from my point of view, it's a no-brainer. She can't ever do anything to one, but one of the giraffes in the herd eventually had enough of her, because they were all staring. I mentioned how they would stare at a predator. They were literally all staring at her, and they'd seen her. And eventually one of them just ran and chased her. And she did well enough to get well out of its way. But I haven't seen any aggressive behavior towards me or to people before, except on videos. So we are going to send you over to Steve with some lions.
Well, welcome back everyone. We have caught up with the lions again, and it's starting to get quite warm. Dark man starting into his usual position at the back. The rest of the pride is ahead of him, and we have to wait. So here he sits in the road like a sphinx. Moving around, that should be better. Apologies for that. Okay, and off he goes, and so shall we. Now, Chelapan is the next body of water coming up. One I've been wanting to go to and to show you all as another water source on Djuma. Can't say I've seen this boy being as active as he has been this morning. Dark mane, I mean, this is see, look at the size of these. Oh, hang on. Lions have got their eyes on something. I don't know what they've seen, but all the attention and focus is on something. That one's even stalking. Chelapan is just off to the left. It's very likely some animal was drinking. Now, just in case this happens very quickly, everybody, I do put through a quick disclaimer that if lions do catch something, it can be quite violent and quite aggressive and quite hard to watch. It's not guaranteed to happen, whatever's about to, but just pre-warning you. It is nature, it is part and parcel of what happens out here. Lioness is stalking, and Dark Mane is just going to walk straight in there. He wants whatever this is. And he's going to be one of the first on the scene if it does happen. Okay, let's just watch this unfold. No, Candace, he will not take the lead. He's looking like he wants to be close to the front to capitalize, but I've never seen a male lion take the lead unless he's on his own or with a brother. They normally allow the females to do a lot of the work. They stay close by because they know when the distress call happens and the animal gets caught, they can run in and they can capitalize. He has been an injured male for ages. Seeing him move like this has been quite nice to see. Almost as if he's completely healed, or yet he's still a little bit injured. Okay, so I don't know what they've seen, but the intention seems to be lost somewhat. The Mawati is off to our left by about 80 meters. Chelapan is just off at our 11 o'clock by about the same distance. I'm going to be able to creep up here on the road. Maybe we can get a visual. It's quite open up ahead. Okay, there's intention. There's intention. I cannot see what they're looking at, but we're just going to wait here at the back. I think a lioness has gone around towards the other side of Chelapan and the thickets there. And the objective is to chase something in this direction, if not catch it outright on that side. A lot of visual communication plays out with these animals. This happens many times a day. These visual cues. You can see that she is locked on to something that we can't see. So, okay, I had a feeling there's maybe a warthog. Gert can see one. Now everyone, I warn you in advance that warthogs make an incredible noise when they get caught. It will not be pleasant if it gets caught, but they're also quite good at getting away. Their problem is their eyesight is not great. The grass is normally taller than their heads. Before I answer your question, Jamie, where Gert's got the camera there, I can see through the bush a lioness on the other side of that warthog, and she's poised. So we've basically got lionesses all the way around this warthog, and they're waiting for it to either get a bit closer or to move into the open more, or to get obscured by some vegetation. So directly from where this lioness is, that one's looking and slowly walking towards our other lioness. So, okay, it's happening. That's picked a good gap. I'm going. They caught it. I think, everyone, bear in mind, this is not going to be pleasant. Not going to be pleasant. So look away. Easy. Galas of Bambada water kia pangolin. Everyone, it's not going to be pleasant. Unfortunately, this is nature. That warthog will die soon of blood loss and shock. stations, the telematis have just taken a Wautokia Junction, Twin Dams and Pangolin. One station unlocked. So everybody, as that animal gets smaller, the noises, just going to let you listen, because me talking over this is going to be very tricky. You say it's amazing he hasn't chased them off, but wait as that kill starts getting smaller and smaller, the area is going to start to try to dominate. This is still early days, there's still a fair amount of meat, lots of feeding sites. So everybody, this is nature, this is what happens. Hunt when they can. They regulate the population of many animals. He wants to do it for himself now. Surprised they're not eating all of that. Rather going for the meat. Elizabeth, the sounds are incredible, aren't they? Steffi are not the best table manners. There's a fierce time. They eat to survive. They have to compete with each other. Silly in their vigilance, and it cost him or her its life. I know this is very hard for some of you to watch. This is his live nature. This is what lions do, everybody. They are apex predators. They regulate the population of many animals, and warthog is an animal that needs to be regulated. They breed prolifically, and they have a very damaging impact on the environment if their numbers are too high. To that space where they start getting quite aggressive. We are joined in the sighting by another vehicle. see there's an iron-rich blood smell with stomach content, although the stomach somehow has not been broken open. They're into the ribs, they've completely torn it apart, but the stomach is still there intact with all the intestines, so we don't have that really sweet, organic smelling, composty smell common with the stomach content. And it's also dusty from the movement of them on the floor. Versus a 1 there. He wants to claim it. Five versus 1. Each will get a piece, move off. He wants the whole thing. some scraps. Blood on the floor, any bits of meat that fell off. This big boy wants to maybe get back in. He's not sure. It was a decent sized warthog. The amount of meat that they've managed to consume.
We all have a busy schedule and a lifestyle which is confined to stress and tensions. For so many of us, the hustle and bustle of a tedious life has meant we have lost our inner peace. Traveling is an ultimate remedy that lets us unwind and helps us experience peace in the lap of nature. Wild Earth encourages the benefits of travel by giving away an amazing prize every month.
I was totally overwhelmed to receive this fantastic prize of 3 nights at Chitwa Chitwa. Wild Earth has been a lifesaver for us during the pandemic and has kept us sane. Thank you so very much, Wild Earth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. Wild Earth Explorers. It's in your nature.
And I find getting out to a local royal park brings me so much closer to nature. I can leave my pain at home. And like watching Wild Earth, I find it's the most amazing way to step out of life's difficulties and just breathe.
The chirping and fluttering of these Java finches at the feeder in our garden helps us start each day joyfully in connection with nature.
So this is our piece of nature that we've been enjoying and has been keeping us sane during lockdown. This morning we have 8 oyster catchers on our beach, which is a real treat.
Hug a tree, Steve, just for you.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at And Beyond Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through And Beyond Ngala on Wild Earth. Send me live questions through the Wild Earth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
Welcome back everyone, where the action has petered out. Darkbane has eventually pulled away a kill, but not before little Stompy with the missing tail gave him a proper go. She, as we spoke about the other day, has probably got the most attitude out of all these youngsters. And as he pulled the carcass away, she latched onto him and actually had a claw stuck in his face for a period of time, and made me cringe as he twisted and she rolled. And anyway, seems like she's dislodged herself. But here, the 2 youngsters, oh, there we go. Now it's starting to feed on the intestine. Just thinking about it anyway. That's all stomach content and intestine there. That it's definitely the last to get eaten. It's not the favoured. On warthog, you often see them leave it alone entirely, but hunger. Okay there, can I move up a meter? Should I try that gap? Okay, there we go. So everybody, if you've just joined us here at the end of the show here on this beautiful morning, you have basically just caught up with the Talamati Pride that has made a live warthog kill. Now we need to spare a thought for the warthog, but the meat is going to a good place. The lions require meat to survive. They are apex predators who remove animals from the population. That warthog was caught unawares close to a watering hole, a place that lions and leopards often hunt towards or nearabouts. He ran off. He picked an angle, and I think he picked the right angle, but the lions were just too close and too quick, and was pulled down by this pride live, and it was quite an ordeal watching this whole thing happen. But we've been with the pride since the start of show. We've followed them through Djuma. They're right here on the junction of Pangolin and Twin Dams Road, pretty much about as south as I know them to go. And it has been quite sensational in the morning. Well, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for your questions and comments this morning. We look forward to hosting you again this afternoon, same time, same place, from all of our various locations. Please do join us a bit later. You have a wonderful day until then. From all of the presenters, guides, cam ops and final control, have a wonderful day. Until then, good day and goodbye.